Okay, of course we started out with a brief technical difficulty. That is the way this goes, I'm told. Let's load up the game, get started, and thank you, Lisette, for being here. Definitely. I will blame that. Okay, give me 1 second to check one other thing. There we go. Okay, so this will be a new game. We'll just do it as Explorer. I will skip the intro scene. I don't think. Oh, wait a minute. Is this any better?
Who are you?
Okay, I moved my phone a bit further away so I could keep an eye on chat but still kind of be near the mic. Alright, so we will not reset those. Now, on here, these are the original, oh my goodness, characters. Astarion, who is a rogue. He is also elf. There's Lae'zel. She is a Githyanki fighter. They're a little kind of cruel and militant. Gale is a wizard, human. Shadowheart's a half-elf who's a cleric. Will, I believe, is sorcerer, and he's also human. There's Karlach in the game, who is a tiefling. And then you can play, which my current playthrough is the Dark Urge, except I customed it. But we'll go ahead and start with customization, and you'll get a choice of race. There's elf, tiefling, drow, human, Githyanki, dwarf, half-elf, halfling, gnome, dragonborn, and half-orc. There are a couple of similarities with Diablo. There's a couple of creatures too, like bosses. I've wondered if it interweaves a little or was inspiration. But you can also go male or female. And then they kind of have the more buff figure, of course. Slightly androgynous. But the two main starts are 1 or 2. And they change a little depending on the race as well. And like this one, well, we can get into that with sub-races on some of them. But also they have features that are good, like the speed. This one has proficiency with weapon training such as long sword, short bow, long bow, short sword. They have dark vision, so they can see a lot better in the shadows and everything, which can be very helpful. But there's also potions and scrolls with magic and different things that you can use if you choose like a human character. They also have Fey ancestry, so they get an advantage on saving throws against being charmed and magically can't be put to sleep. My current one I'm doing is a tiefling. She'll have the dark vision and she'll have hellish resistance, which will reduce fire damage to her. So she can walk through flames and take minimal issue with it if needed. The drow will start with a cantrip. Again, some of it depends on the subrace. It can vary. They have drow weapon training, wonderful dark vision. They can see best in the dark compared to most of them. And again, Fey ancestry because of the relation. Some of the characters too, depending on class, you can get added buffs in general just because it's a certain one. Certain ones can get luck right off the bat, which is pretty cool. It lets you reroll and take the highest number and things like that. It does follow Dungeons and Dragons, but it's got a little twist on a few parts that kind of make it homebrew. The Githyanki are very good with militia, but to me they kind of look like frog people. Which, that kind of, there we go. You can kind of zoom in and see a little better now. But Mage Hand is pretty useful, and they're really good with martial type situations. There's the dwarf, of course, which is a stout little thing. If I remember, when you edit them, you can also put beards on the females and such too. With the Dragonborn, you'll see you can change the horns and different things. Like, there's a lot more to it than you think. Half-elf has a lot of the same as the elf. It gives them some perks. Halfling, here's one of them. How it says race feature, you get luck. You can, if you get a 1, you can reroll, so you don't crit fail. And trust me, there are choices that they make you roll the dice on, and you hope and pray. Gnome has cunning, so they have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. A crit fail means you rolled a 1 on the dice. It's a 20-sided dice called a dodecahedron. It means you completely fail. There's no hope in saving you. You're done. Like, it's a bad roll. Very bad. If you get a 20 on the dice, that's a critical success. And generally, unless it's a really obscene, like, this is more Dungeons and Dragons, like, usually the Dungeon Master, in this it would be the game though, like, it's set up, but sets a rating, like, of how hard it would be. And sometimes they will go over a 20 and make it 25. Well, whenever you do a sheet, you get a bonus to certain stats. And you can add that stat to it, so a 20 would become a 24 if you had a +4. Things like that. And that makes it a little easier for the average to get it, but like that high of a roll. But on here, pretty much you're good as long as you get a 20, because in general, that's an auto success no matter what. But it depends on the GM and stuff in a general game. On here, you're pretty good with the crit of a 20. Like, that's the best you can get. But it will go higher. Like, if you are lockpicking, say, with Astarion or something, with his rogue and everything else, what he is, he can get up into the 30s when he rolls on a dice. Like, it's fascinating. Sometimes the way the numbers go. The Dragonborn doesn't really have many race features here. This kind of goes back with the sub-race section, which I'll show in a moment. And then there's the half-orc, which you get those nifty fangs. Tusks, not fangs. Dark vision, relentless endurance, which means if they get knocked unconscious or have to do their first death save, instead they come back with 1 single hit point, so they can still fight. Kind of like what you would think with, if you know anything about Viking mythology, the or even just in general fighting that they did, the Berserkers, it's kind of like that. This is generally a very enduring race. Okay, let's look at which one was it we were looking at. Was it Dragonborn? Yeah, we'll go with this for one of the sub-race. Now, there's different types of dragons. One set's like chromatic, and I forget off the top of my head the others. Metallic, I think. But with being a black dragon, you get the bonus of acid breath. And with your specific ancestry, you're resistant to acid damage. Let's see, let's try a different one. A gold dragon, fire. Silver, I think, is ice. Yes, frost breath, and you're resistant to cold damage. Give me 1 sec, hubby's calling in. Just 1 sec. Okay. And we are back, and hopefully I have the volume reset and everything so that we are good again. But like this one would be frost and cold. With different races, it's a little bit different. The elf, you can go with high elf, which gives you firebolt, or wood elf, which gives you an increased movement speed. So it can vary depending on what sub-race you do. Like this one has gold, the shield, and the Dwargar. This one, great dark vision, great resilience. This one is better with armor proficiencies. And this one has more hit points or HP. So where do you think you would like to start as a race? Or do you have any other questions concerning the races? Keep in mind, I am not an expert. There is some stuff I am still learning when it comes to this game and Dungeons & Dragons in general. Alright, we will go elf. Now, are you wanting a high elf with the fire, or the wood elf with the increased movement speed? Alrighty. So, here we go. And are you wanting it to be female or male? Or somewhere in between? Alright, we will go with male. Okay. Then he gets a starting cantrip, which fire was the general, but I'm not going to make you go through all of these for it if you do not want. That is up to you. We can go and change his appearance, and if you still feel up to it, we can actually select his class and everything to go with it. Or we could do this and then go into appearance depending on what you are feeling, since you are the guest. You can also see over here with his current class as a sorcerer, he has a high charisma. His wisdom, his intelligence, constitution, dex, strength, all of that is there. He gets a +1 to initiative. And his starting hit points are 8. Okay, appearance. Okay. Now you can change the voices.
Where to next?
What was that?
Let's hope the locals are friendly. Hells, something.
Be wary. This place
I forget which ones are male and which ones are female, but you could always give them a female voice. It would sound pretty funny.
Opened.
I have the volume turned down a little. My headphones, the current ones I have, do not like my mic. They battled, so I can only choose one or the other. So I'm kind of going volumeless on this, just so you know.
More of those wretched things. There's magic keeping. Where to next?
But we do not have to worry about that part. And then there are the different faces. This is the first one. Number 2, a little bit pointier. Five and 3, yes I can. Give me one second. There's 5.
Hells, something just woke up down here.
Be wary.
It's opened. More of those wretched things. There's magic keeping this chest sealed. I can feel its aura.
What was that?
Okay, 3 it is.
Something
Alright.
just woke up down here.
Then head 1, a little older, which you can add to that later, you'll see. There's 3. There's the 4th head style. I do wish they had a little more face options on this. I think it could be a lot of fun to really play around with. The last one's usually the eldest and always the grumpiest looking. Not really grumpy, I guess he has nice eyes, but more stern, I guess, like. Alright, here's 2. Little profile shot. And 6. Oh shoot, you said appearance last. I didn't realize that part. My bad. Alright, we will go to. Now, you can change the skin color, which you can do the basic set here. I misread though. I apologize. I'm a little anxious if it might not show, but I am. But the moon tone gives them sort of more of a light purple cast to dark purple. The colors don't always quite. These are more like the basic tanner shades, kind of. But you can also go with a lot of extras if you want. But in some cases, like with the wood elf, if I remember correctly, a lot of their coloration is general. Like, I know you're not the wood elf, but like as an example, greens and browns shades, more actual like woodlandy shades. But sometimes you can play with it and make a high elf, you know, look more like an orc. Or maybe like a drow. They definitely have some cool ones, and they have some that I don't quite think I could pick for anything. But yes, if you want just the normal. Alright. Would you like him to just be like pale Caucasian? And no stress, this is just for fun. There are no wrong choices. Sixth, fourth row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, sixth row. Fourth. There we go. I can count, I swear. One before that. Kind of russet. Like he's been in the sun a bit, or he's like more of a desert traveler. Try the one before that one. That one? I think this is probably one of the harder parts for me, is when I'm going for the skin and everything. What about maybe... Yeah, it's definitely warmer than you would think it would be looking at the color palette. What about this one? Warm, blush, blush, pallid. We're in the cool tones now. Six, 3, 2, 3, 4. That one? Okay. Perfect. And then you can choose scars. That one's none. This one gives him there. Second scar is this one across his nose and down the opposite cheek. This one's just across the bridge and over. Just a couple cheek snags. Straight bridge of nose. Or none, like you can go with none. just a little bit of a lip cut. Someone split his lip good. I think this one is technically more scarification ritual. And then this one I think is a burn scar. Okay, and you can also adjust the maturity. You can adjust freckles. Little hard to see, but they are there. Oh wait, actually, intensity. There we go. You could give him a lot of freckle. And he can also have vitiligo. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And we're not going to go into the genitalia, if you don't mind, whenever we get to that part. Maturity max freckle. Right? Half intensity. Right about there. He's looking so cute. Okay. Now, you can include body art. Sometimes, depending on the character, if you're going to include makeup, the body art can interfere with some of the makeup choices. Like if it's like, let me find one of this, like this one, how it's over the eyes. Hey, that's a good way to do it. But they have all kinds of them that you can choose from. And some of them, not all of them, but some of them are actual, the symbols and stuff actually do mean words. I cannot recall them at the moment, so please don't ask for that part. But they've definitely got some pretty cool ones. Or he could be completely without. You can also change the color and the intensity of it as well. Alright, that is alright. Okay, no modifications like that. 1 second, I'm muting for... Just gonna tell hubby hi real quick, he got home. Okay, we are back, so we're not gonna worry about none of that. There are some piercings as well you can choose. Sadly, they're not extreme like mod option, but there are a few you can get. Like here is the fastened stars. You can see he also gets an eyebrow with that. Lapis stud muffin. The subduer loops. Midnight tears, which are like little itty bitty raven skulls. Silver Gold Gala. Dark Moon. Kind of like the little one in the eyebrow on that one. The Red Scintilla. Yeah. Basic studs. Serpents. Crimson Hilt Dirk. Barova, yeah, Fangs. Minotaur Ring. Easy breezy. Just a couple little things, you know? Just a little bit of bling. Archface Swirls. Commoner. The Bardic Rings, which is a lot of ear piercings. I think that's what I have on Amaranth right now, since she is a bard, but I can't remember. I'd have to look. And then none, depending on if you would like to give him a little bling or not. Oh, too far. There we go. Alright. Now to the eyes. You can do heterochromia. You can split the eye collar however you would like. And you can either go from the basic eye collars, like elf gold. Some of them are a little hard to see. Other ones show up really good. Or you can go into here and they have one like, I think this is one of them I used for Amaranth. No, I gave her Flame. There's Flame Purple. It kind of makes tiny little flames in the iris. You can't really tell, but there's just straight ruby eyes if you want him to have red. He could have drow colored eyes. And some of these go in with like, if I remember correctly, the flame ones usually go best with like the tieflings because of their hellish sort of bloodline and aspects. But they can look pretty neat on anyone. You can also get certain ones too. I would think you could tie it together, like if you made him a sorcerer, he would have made a pact, and his patron could be demonic, and that could have granted him, like, there's all kinds of ways you can think about it. I'd love to have some of these shades on to be able to wear, but I can't even put contacts in. There's those green. There are a few others, like here's Elf specific, and Spring Green, Elf Spring, Demonic. Emerald, Emerald 2, and Emerald 3. I really like Emerald 3 on a lot of them. The way the contrast is between the light and dark shade. Let's see, and we got more down here. Flame Green, 1. 2's a little bit lighter. Emerald? I think there's also a blue that is similar to that, but I could be wrong. Maybe green second row. fourth one in. Okay. Really light green eyes. Alright, we got eyes. And are you wanting them both the same color or one different? Okay. Would you like him to wear some eyeshadow or lipstick? Okay, there's none. One option, it's just kind of like a light eyeliner. There's 3 on top. And you can also change the color and the opacity, like a few things with them. Well, hello, Duncan. Buddy, you're gonna make this hard. You can also make it a little more metallic looking and stuff too. Like, you can change the tint level. Like, let's say we'll do blue. I know, real bright. You can change that and the gloss level to make it more shiny. Intensity. I didn't mean to stay on blue for that, but it kind of helps give you an idea. See, not quite as in-depth as Sims with it, but it gives you a few options. You can see why sometimes I might take an hour, hour and a half at this. Metallic gold. Okay, let's go with gold-ish. There we go. High metallic. We'll up the gloss rate so you can see the shimmer on it to help, and we'll start back at 1. There is that one. Yes, donkey. It's not time yet, baby. It's not dinner. Sorry, distraction. And let me know if I'm going too fast through these. I'm trying to give to a count before I do it, but... Donkey. Baby doll. I didn't notice it gives that little tiny piece below the eye on that one. There's that one. And then this one does like 3 little swoops. Nobody. Under the eye, but try silver. That's probably the closest to silver, I think. Yeah. So, was it that one with the under eye? Because there's a couple, but that one's the dead center. And then let's see. Where was gold? It was up here. I think in general the silver might show up better. The gold would, depending on the light, if you can see where like it's showing light catching. It does give it a little extra pop when you catch it. Let's see, what's it look like with his eyes themselves? It doesn't really. They both look good. Silver? Okay. And would you like any lip tint on your elf? Right now everything is turned down. The default? Okay. It was just everything turned down. Alright. And then we have hair. Would you like... Now, this one has a little bit of a go-through. This area they definitely... But we can do Plucky Fable. That kind of looks neat. We can do the Cauldron Foam. Busy Promenade. And some of them I will make sure to turn it because you'll see like shaved head bits. Some of them might still have hair in other places, but some you get the basic look. Little bohemian look. This is usually, this one here, more of Githyanki specific. So some of the hairstyles are a little more on race. Furled wings. Something regal. This one is slightly on that. At least I've seen it on a couple of the noble type characters. Let's see what else might be regal. Just normal locks. That's kind of cute. I think that's short all the way. Yeah, that's an even cut. It also depends on what your version. Like Lucius Malfoy. Lucius. That's long hair, right? Very long, straight hair. Give me a second. If I remember right. I don't want to go into there yet. The default was pretty good. Actually, that might have been the default one. Some of them with the long hair, they have them in updos instead. So that one might... Yeah, because that one's wavy, not straight. I think this one was the default, maybe. Okay. And as far as color, we have the color, the highlights, and the graying shade. So, are you wanting to keep it this kind of dusty color? Do you want to try something white, more gray? See if we can get a more blonde look? Some of them it will depend on the other colors too, because if you look at like this one, turn up the highlights, low, all that. Just trying to show you an example with the different colors, how they might show up. And here's like the graying intensity for using a dark blue, how that would work too. But I will put this back to the default for a moment. And you can, again, it gives you a long list of additional colors for highlights. I think that's where he was originally. He was on blonde one. Wait, the one with the hair long front. This one? Alright. Oh shoot, I put that on the wrong one. And would you like to keep it this color? Alright, purple highlights, let's see. I'll start with the first one, which is a little more pink, and we'll up the intensity so you can actually see where it's hitting on the avatar. To get like an idea of how that would look. Then darker. Third purple. Fourth one. Fifth. Sixth. Seventh. A light purple. Okay, so a lighter one. Like 1 or 2. The blue shade. First one. And I can also adjust to if you want it a little less, like that with the slider, if it's a little too much. And the graying will also add some addition too. So 6 is pretty darn light as well. And there's a teal. Oh, sorry about that. I hit the wheel. This one or this guy? Okay. And then, just to give you the idea with this, say we do a darker one just to show where the color shows up for this. You can kind of see it real faint, more purple. Turn down the intensity on the graying or on the highlights. About middle. All right. If it were matching, I think it would be this one is the same shade. Oh, that was on me. Um, the barbarian, if you want strength. The bard, and I'm just going through these, like, you don't have to pick. The bard, more music. He has a lot of good buffs. Cleric, you're healing. Druid, you are one with nature. You can wild shape into other animals. Fighter, which self-explanatory. A monk. Paladin. use that divine flow of essence. The ranger, where you can summon, I believe you can have a familiar or companion. The rogue. Sorcerer, who draws his magic from his bloodline, which this is where you might also have a dragon born in the family bloodline and you got magic through being the dragon, through that. The warlock, you have a patron. Could be hellish, it could be fey, you never know. And the wizard with specific schools. Ancient spells and modern research. But yeah, it's with like wizard, you choose like a background, or with most of them, you choose, unless you chose the dark urge, if you're an urchin, and it gives you bonuses like to sleight of hand and stealth. If you're a guild artisan, you get better insight and persuasion with skills. But they have a lot of really cool aspects to this game. Here, the subclass for the sorcerer. Are you draconic? Do you have a powerful dragon ancestor? Do you use shadow magic and siphon powers from the Shadowfell? Do you use storm sorcery with hail, gales, and hurricanes, and you don't really know where it came from? Or wild magic, which can happen at any time. It's just a lot of really fun. Really fun. Oh, and with, like I was saying, this one, if you chose, like, your Draconic, you also choose your Dragon Ancestor, which, like, Black, you would have Acid at level 6. More powerful, and you become resistant, like, different buffs like that. Poison, fire, cold, lightning, all of it. Shadow magic. And then it has you set up cantrips, spells. We don't have to go into that if you... But, Artesian, would you rather be an acolyte? You've spent your life in service to the temple, learning sacred rites. You would get an insight and religion skill, up. For charlatan, deception, sleight of hand, manipulation. It gives you, like, additional proficiencies, for certain skill checks and dice rolls in the game for those. Criminal, deception, and stealth. Entertainer, acrobatics and performance. That could be good for a bard. A folk hero. You're a champion of the common. You have a guild membership. This helps with insight and persuasion with certain selling and different things like that. Noble, you're one of the social elite. An outlander. You grow up in the wilds. Didn't bother much with civilization. A sage. You're very well read and curious. Soldier, of course. Tactics, combat, athletics, intimidation, big help. Or are you just a street urchin? You had a very poor upbringing, and it's your street smarts that give you a lot of everything. But it gives you a +5 to stealth checks. This one, like, they really help depending on what way you're wanting to do your character. And also if you're playing a normal character or the Dark Urge, and which way you take the Dark Urge. Are you trying to battle it and be the better person? Or are you going to give in and just become the most psychotic in Faerun history? Guild Artesian Herd. And that's basically it. It just goes through abilities. You get +4, so you could add a 2 and a... Like, you can change this how... This is a 13. With the 13, you only get a +1, but if it was 14, you get a +2 to your saving throws or any checks that the game throws at you. So you can play with that and everything, but that's basically it. Like the cantrips, you just choose which spells you want to play. Not every, you can't change them, like most of them mid-game. It has to be either depending on level and class and everything, a short rest or a long rest. Usually it's long rest though, and then it'll let you repick spells for the day and so forth, which is where you would end up going in and picking these. But yeah, you are basically set up. The only thing that would be left would be, if you hit proceed, you then make like, well, I'll just show you. What name would you like to have your character, by the way? Let's go ahead and name it. You're good. It's okay. Like, you don't even have to go this far. I'm just showing, like, you would enter a name. The generic name for this character is Tav. Then after that, then you choose basically your guardian, which, same process, you go through, choose race, separate, and then the game will officially start. And you'll eventually meet this person on your guardian at some point in the game and everything. I don't want to go too spoiler or anything, just in case you ever do play. I don't know if you will because of some of the gameplay, but it would be an After Dark game for sure. But yeah, sometimes it just autofills this part with basically the same race as you because it feels, I think, is the game that you would be more comfortable speaking to someone more like yourself. And there are in this game certain race and class kind of conflicts. Like, I've already recorded it, so I'll go ahead and say it. In the I'm glad you would, Lisette. But in game, they're in the Emerald Grove. If you've watched my videos, you'll notice there is an issue that seems to be going on between the tieflings and the druids, which one is a race and one is your like sub. Your Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. I forget where I was now. I got distracted by my son. I apologize. But like in the druids is your class. So all of the druids, for whatever reason, because I don't think I got fully in depth into that part because that's a future video or stream whenever I get to that part. But you can see there's some conflict between them. And yeah, it can be pretty not so great at times. But yeah, you made a Baldur's Gate character. You'll definitely have to like screenshot him and show him off and be like, hey, I may not have played, but I made one. But I thank you for joining me, Lisette, and I hope you enjoyed going through the options and everything. As I said, not quite a Sims 4, but it tried. And a lot of the people playing these games aren't really looking for a lot of those options. They want to get right into the story, and there is a lot of story and lore, and it is just, this game is beautiful. There are triggering aspects, but especially depending on how you play it, but the world of Faerun, Larian Studios did amazing when they made this game. Alright. Well, I am going to go ahead and end this. I need to get dinner heated up and everything for my dad and stuff. And thank you again so much for going through this and letting me explain and ramble and everything else. I hope anyone else who may have stopped in has a great night as well, and anyone who may watch I'll probably put this as a video as well, so we shall see. Have a wonderful night and take care.